Okay, I wanted to do something a little different in this video. Um, I'm going to be talking about a few recent dreams that I had that I believe are relevant and significant to what is going on in my life right now and and um and my life in the future. So I thought I would share them because I really liked these dreams. They brought like such good feelings when I after I woke up and had them, and to the point where I like wrote the dreams down because sometimes, I mean, well, most times we forget our dreams. And so I thought it was important that I wrote down what happened in the dream, what was said, uh, what I saw, things, important details like that, so I didn't miss out on anything when I did this video. um, so yeah, I had these. uh, it was it one dream or two? Uh-oh. I think it was two dreams, but I think the first dream was longer. No, I remember the second dream. I was scared that I forgot the second dream. I think it's just because the second dream was a little shorter than the first dream. But I didn't write the second dream down like I should have. But I do have I do know what it like what the gist of it was. But yeah, so I had these two dreams in March, so last month. Specifically, I even wrote the date down. It was March 16th. And then I had the second dream a few nights later after that. But basically, they were political dreams. And so they were. So I'll start with the first dream. Um, well, before I start with this, let me just say my dreams, they can vary from like really crazy to like profound and like enlightening. It just can range. I don't know why it does that, but it does do that. And even though I think my dreams have gotten even more crazier over the years, sometimes I do have like really nice dreams that I believe are spiritual dreams, where I believe that God is talking to me or trying to tell me something important, um, pertaining to my life, uh, or my family or things like that. Um, yeah, or like I said, or I can have dreams about, just whatever, just like wild, crazy dreams that don't really have any significance, just anything that my mind conjures up, um, because of stress or for something I ate or whatever is going on in my head. But yeah, for these dreams specifically, they were uh, like politically themed. So yeah, I'm going to the first dream, which was um, it was like my favorite one because it was longer than the second one. But in the first dream, I was at like some sort of political event, and I don't know specifically like what event it was, but it was a political event. There were like other speakers there, and they seemed like important people, but I'm not sure like who exactly they were. I didn't recognize anybody in this dream. Like in most of my dreams, they're just like random faces. Um, but yeah, I was at this event and I was one of the speakers, and so I had like people helping me, prepare for this speech, and I was prepared myself too. I had like my note cards, just like I have now. Like my note cards are like my go-to when I'm public speaking because I still haven't gotten to the point where I'm good enough to just like talk freely. I mean, I'm talking freely now, kind of. I'm going off of my note cards, but anyways, yeah, I have my note cards in the dream, and I had a lot too. So I have obviously had a lot to say. I usually have a lot to say in real life, so that's no surprise there. But yeah. So Um, I'm just referring to my notes so I don't like skip anything or so I don't go like out of order. So yeah, when it was my turn to go out and speak, I walked out and there was like a big crowd and everyone was cheering for me. And so I turned at people and I waved at everybody. And yeah, when I stepped up to the podium, I had my note cards and and I started speaking. Now, it also didn't come as a surprise to me that I was nervous in a dream because I also get nervous, as like with most people do with public speaking. Uh, it's just a big fear that most people have, and no matter how many times you do it, you still get like nervous, even just a little bit. Um, so yeah, it was no different in my subconscious in my dream too. Uh, but I did do well, I think, and so yeah, then I started speaking and I wrote down the things. I was surprised that I was able to remember the things that I specifically said in my dream. And I was even more surprised that I was like, speaking coherently, that my subconscious was like speaking coherently when I was, asleep. Uh, I wasn't doing this for real. This is all in my subconscious, all in my dream. And I was still having, these coherent thoughts and I was able to recall them after my dream, which almost never happens. I can't even remember like one word that was spoken in my dream, let alone like sentences that I spoke in my dream. So that was pretty cool. So I wrote it down, what I said in this speech, and one of the things I said was that Chicago was one of the worst cities in the world, but it can become um, good if we select better politicians. Um, And I also, what else did I also say? It, well, it can improve is what I meant to say once the right politicians are in office. But same thing. I also said that taxpayers are wasting money on worthless government projects. I'm not sure if I was speaking specifically to Chicago or just all over the country. But now that I'm thinking about it, it's mostly in cities like Chicago. Uh, that don't put their citizens first. That's in other places around the country too. And then my last point, um, to me, this was like kind of strange because it's not something that I would like usually say, but it was still a good point that I made. But the last thing that I can remember I said in this speech was that we need to like something like tearing down fast food restaurants and replacing them with more grocery stores. I think that was it. Or shutting down fast food restaurants and replacing them with more grocery stores to lessen obesity. And America does have an obesity problem. They still have an obesity problem. I don't know if it's gotten better or worse over the years. Probably worse. Um, but yeah, I mean that was, even though it's not, obesity isn't like a topic that I focus on. Um, it's still an important topic to cover nonetheless, especially in this country where obesity is, an issue. Um, so yeah, and we definitely use more grocery stores, especially in the neighborhoods that are food deserts. Can use more grocery stores and less fast food restaurants. In the neighborhoods where their population um, has more like physical illnesses that are caused by eating a lot of fast food and things like that. But yeah, that was the last point I made. Now, I do believe that I said more than these 3 points in my dream, but for some reason, these are the only 3 points that I can recall. Because, like I said, I had a lot of I was reading from a lot of note cards in my dream, and so I was trying to speed it up so I didn't take too long reading it. But those are the only words that I can recall. And those 3 points right there are important just by themselves. Um, Especially, the point where I said that, Chicago can improve once we have the right politicians in office, uh, and that taxpayers are wasting money on worthless government projects. So those are important, relevant points. And so yeah, that was pretty much my first dream. Let me make sure I'm not missing out on anything. Oh yeah, and I wait. Um, I also wanted to add, like in the dream, I was nervous and I felt like I wasn't as prepared as I should have been because there was like one point during my speech where there was like this really long, awkward pause because I don't know, maybe I think I lost my place in the note cards and I was trying to think of what to say next. And yeah, I mean, pauses happen sometimes, but this is like a really long, awkward pause. This made me feel so self conscious and uncomfortable. But uh, yeah, overall, I think I did a good job in this little dream speech. But yeah, I felt nervous and unprepared a little. But what helped me get through this speech was like in my dream, I was focusing on the audience and I was focusing on the people, and it helped that I got that warm um, greeting. When I first walked in, everybody was cheering, so that helped build that good feeling, connecting to the audience. And in real life, I try to do that too. I try to like connect to who I'm talking to, whether it be one person or a multitude of people. But in the dream, this happened to like help me overcome whatever fears and nervousness I had while speaks while doing the speech, was just taking the focus off of myself and directing it towards my target audience. And when I was focusing more on the people more than myself, then it helped decrease those negative feelings with more and replace it with more positive feelings. So yeah, and I decided, after I woke up from that, if I took anything from out of this dream to apply to my real life, I was gonna, take that, um, to focus less on my own feelings of nervousness or insufficiency or lack of self confidence or whatever you want to call it, and just transfer that um, to focusing more on who I'm speaking to, and hopefully that helps. We'll see the next time I do any sort of public speaking, but I think it'll help. People say you should like I've never gotten the whole imagine people in their underwear. I was never told that when I was taking public speaking. When I took my last public speaking, my first and last public speaking class, my professor told us to like, um, if you're nervous when you're speaking, just to look at a specific point at the back of the classroom. And, like, don't look at anybody, just look at the back of the classroom, focus on a specific point, and then that'll help with your nervousness. And I don't know if I tried that. I don't. I don't think I can do that because I think it'll kind of throw me off. Like it. I think that's kind of distracting because I'm not talking to the wall. I'm talking to actual people. So I need to be able to focus better. I need to be able to look at who I'm speaking to. If I'm speaking to one person, well, I know it's different, but if I'm speaking to one person, I'm making eye contact with them. It's no different than I'm speaking to 100 people. I'm gonna try to make as much eye contact with my audience as I can, no matter how many people it is, or no matter how nervous I am. Now, if I want to glance back at the wall at the back of the room a couple of times just to, get my thoughts together. I mean, that's fine, but just to spend the whole time just focusing on that one point and just basically ignoring my whole audience, I don't think that's a very helpful tip. And I've never actually done that. When I'm speaking, I'm glancing up and I'm like not doing a 360, but like, scanning from left to right everybody who I'm talking to. And sometimes I'll like focus on for a few seconds, like a few extra seconds on people who are like really seem to be into, what I'm saying, really like paying attention. And I'll just inadvertently, you know, pay a little more attention. Not like pay a little more attention, but like look at them a little longer. But, anyways, I'm going to take that into consideration just to take the focus off of myself. I think that's a lesson I got from this first dream. But now move on to the second dream, which is a lot shorter. And like I said, I don't have this written down. I don't really need it written down anyways because I kind of memorized a little bit of it. But it was another political dream, and it was me running for mayor, just like I tried to do last year, but it didn't work. But in this dream, it did work, and I was actually elected in my dream, and so yeah. Actually, now I can't decide which one I like better, the first or the second dream. I like both of them, but I think I'm more. I think I liked. I think I said I liked the first one better just because it was longer and I can remember more of it. But yeah, I think the second one is like more. It's more relevant to my career goals and my political ambitions because I do want to run for some sort of political office, and I do want to win, of course. So in that second dream, um, that's what ended up happening. Uh, I was running for mayor, and then I won, and that may have been my subconscious speaking, um, just because that's been my focus for a long time. That's what I always wanted, or maybe that's a sign. I'm hoping for the latter. I hope it's a good sign that one day my political dreams will come true, whenever that'll be. I hope it's not too long in the distant future. And I hope it does come true one day. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I started doing research on dreams years ago about their meaning and things like that. And I found some interesting things in my research. Um, but yeah, I definitely think these two dreams, and I've never had any dreams. I've never had any like politically themed dreams before, especially not not in this not this nature of a dream before. Um, I think I have more dreams like these because politics is always on my mind. So, but this is the first time I've had dreams, political dreams, what I called them. Hopefully, I'll have more because I really like them. I really enjoyed them. Maybe I can like pick off where I left off and continue it. I've never had dreams that I continued before. Like I just go to a completely different dream. So I don't know, but I really enjoyed it, and I hope it's a sign of good things for me in the future. Who knows? We'll see. Hopefully that is the case. But yeah, I just wanted to share those dreams.